You are listening to We Saw the Devil, an investigative and conversational true crime podcast that deep dives into fascinating criminal cases that are solved, unsolved, or ongoing. From America's Lori Vallow to Germany's Armin Meiwes, we examine and discuss the world's most shocking cases. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to follow us online. Check us out at WeSawTheDevil.com and We Saw the Devil on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget, you can become part of the show by backing us on Patreon. And welcome to We Saw the Devil. This is Robin.
And this is Jackie.
And we are back from our...
You mean I'm back?
yeah, above all, Jackie is back.
What's the phrase? The party don't start until... Well, anyway.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but
okay,
sure.
It was Kesha lyrics, all right? Get with the times. Okay. Actually, it's a little bit behind times, but still.
All right. Well, yeah, Jackie is back. I know a lot of you were very concerned as to her whereabouts.
I was not kidnapped. I am alive. My appendages are intact. Yep. And I think I'm okay.
Yeah, she is back, guys. So hopefully that quells some of your concerns.
I mean, who knows? It's me, right? I could have just wandered off into the desert.
That's true. Quick housekeeping things to get out of the way. You can find us on all social media outlets for the most part, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, so on and so forth, and our website, We Saw the Devil. That's all you need to look up, and you will find us.
That's short and sweet, Robin.
Oh, I have one more thing, Jackie.
Oh, go.
And don't forget to check out our Patreon. You can find that at patreon.com/We Saw the Devil, where, as always, you can support us, support the show, help us make it better, because we are back and we are doubling down.
Absolutely. Okay, listen, people. We have an update on Lori Vallow. Not only do we have an update on Lori Vallow, we also are life sucks. Life has sucked.
So we were on a little brief hiatus, and I know most of you probably don't care, but you know what? I'm going to make you care. Because she is the sweetest, most loving little yellow lab that you have ever seen in your entire life. And she also has like a seizure/syncope/collapsing issue. So got her on a med right after we moved here, dead parents and all. And she started having like cluster episodes. So we got her on a medication, and said medication almost killed her in toxicity. Our dear little pooter, has been at the animal hospital for we brought her home earlier this week on Tuesday, and she was hospitalized for almost a week.
Okay, I couldn't sleep. She's my cuddle buddy, so I couldn't sleep, I couldn't function. And that's very rare where I'm like, okay, I'm grief-stricken. I need my poppy.
And I would like to address our scheduling, because I know last week, like a week and a half ago, I came out and, in one of our episodes, I'm like, hey guys, we're going to have Monday, Wednesday, Friday episodes, and we are on top of our stuff, and then radio silence. Guys, what happened is Poppy almost died. We went to multiple emergency vets with her, and then she ended up being hospitalized, and we just paid a $7,000 bill. So first of all, props and big thank yous to all of our patrons, friends, and family members who helped donate to her GoFundMe, because let me tell you, after spending tens of thousands of dollars moving, taking on all of this other stuff, and then Poppy almost dying, that was a trip.
All of you are partially responsible for her survival. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. And literally, we brought Poppy home, and then that night, my father had a nasty fall in his living facility and was also hospitalized. So it seems like I cannot catch a break right now.
You're cursed. Something happened. Okay, listen, everybody. I believe that she bought something somewhere, maybe a Goodwill, a talisman of some sort. Now she is forever cursed with I don't know what this curse would be even called, but it sucks kind of curse.
Yeah, it's been rough going, guys. So I just want to kind of further double down and let you guys know that, okay, at the moment, things are calm and good, and we can come out and continue our schedule. But I'm so sorry. Life right now is just up and down in a roller coaster. So we will do our best, okay? I just want everyone to be aware that we're not making empty promises that we're not keeping. It is literally that life is kicking us in the balls right now.
Hey, look. I want to know if anyone out there is spiritual and is willing to burn some candles for you right now, Robin. I think that maybe she needs an exorcism.
I was about to say, does anyone do exorcisms from afar?
Or cast away bad spirits?
Wait, Julie Rowe.
Oh,
Julie Rowe.
Where art thou, Julie Rowe?
Julie Rowe, if you are hearing this, I need some of your
spiritual guidance.
Spiritual guidance. Can you talk to your angels? Like whatever hoodoo it is that you do. Hoodoo. I'll allow you to change your outfits a couple times. Just, help a sister out.
Right. Go buy some cat litter and booze.
Right. Oh, all right. But again, thanks so much for your patience, guys. We love you and thank you for your words of support. We've gotten some emails. It's really greatly appreciated, but we are, I promise you, doing our best here.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and start, guys. It has been a hell of about a week span in the Lori Vallow case. So let's just go ahead and talk about what was released today. Let's get the elephant out of the room here.
What kind of crazy do you have for us, Robin?
Tammy's autopsy came back. It is complete.
The moment we have been waiting for a very long time. And it's private. It hasn't. But we know better, don't we, Robin?
We do. If you guys recall, Tammy Daybell died on October 19th of 2019. Now, Chad said that at first he said that she died peacefully in her sleep, right? He kind of changed that later, saying that she was surrounded by family. He claimed that her heart had been failing and that she had been sick but refusing to go to the doctor. No autopsy was done originally when Tammy died because it's not required and Chad didn't request one. Wonder why? So her death was originally ruled natural. But then authorities exhumed Tammy's body just 2 months later on December 11th when suspicion really started to shine on Chad and Lori. And lest we not forget, Alex Cox mysteriously died the very next day after Tammy was exhumed down in Gilbert, Arizona.
Not suspicious.
At the home of his new wife, Ylana Dawn, who, if you look up the word suspicious in a dictionary, it is Ylana's picture beside it.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm completely...
If not, you can go to urbandictionary.com and you can totally change the definition for suspicious and put her photo there. Or like a definition of Ylana.
Oh my God, the first person who does that will be my hero forever.
A forever hero.
Yep.
You want to be a forever hero? Here's your opportunity.
Yep. So the Office of the Sheriff for Fremont County put out a release this morning and said, quote, "Yesterday, the Fremont County Sheriff's Office received the autopsy report on Tammy Daybell's body from the Utah Medical Examiner. The contents of this report will not be made public at this time, as it is evidence in an open and ongoing investigation. We will release additional information as it becomes available." What do you guys think? Jackie, what do you think?
I don't know. Something about an apple and a wicked witch. I'm sorry, poison?
Yeah, in my opinion, this 100,000 trillion billion bajillion points to the presence of something sinister. So something was found. A toxin, a poison, a medication overdose, something.
Well, Chad. I mean, I think Chad is a part of the poison. I mean, maybe I'm just making stuff up.
One part, potentially. But yeah, so when Alex, Charles, and even Joseph Ryan died, their autopsy results were worded very decisively, right? It wasn't open-ended. Alex Cox died of natural causes. They even reopened Joseph Ryan's and did further testing, came back, natural causes. I just feel like in my soul that there is something more here.
Okay, right. The first thing is that coincidences aren't a coincidence ever. There's no coincidences, right? That's what every detective would probably agree with. Mm-hmm. I think that it was a little too late for them to do the autopsy for Ryan.
Potentially, but I don't think they had enough.
I don't think they had enough to know. But I'm sure that we could probably double check with our pathologist on that one.
That's true. I just wonder what it could have been. Was Chad poisoning her? Alex did die suspiciously the next day. Did he kill himself? Was he murdered by Ylana? Who knows? Who was the masked man who walked up to Tammy and shot her with the paintballs? Or tried to? There's so many. This case is just so crazy, and there's so many different pieces and so many different people who could potentially be involved. As it stands right now, yeah, Tammy Daybell's autopsy, not released to the public currently. And we will again have to wait. But all signs are pointing to something was found.
Right. Otherwise, they would have just released it and be like, well, nothing. Like with the other ones, right?
Yeah.
Natural causes. But
I mean,
no, not Tammy.
I mean, there obviously is the possibility that because this particular autopsy has such a high profile that they're just not going to release anything. But no.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Another interesting piece also in regards to this is a press release from the Office of the Prosecuting Attorney. Lindsay A. Blake is the Fremont County Prosecuting Attorney, put out a press release, and it says, quote, effective this week, the Fremont County Prosecuting Attorney's Office has resumed full authority and responsibility over the case of the death of Tammy Daybell. The newly elected prosecutor, Lindsay A. Blake, requested the case be transferred back to Fremont to be handled locally. The Fremont County Prosecuting Attorney's Office thanks the Idaho Attorney General's Office for their hard work, time, and effort on this case.
Well, thank you, guys.
So people are wondering, does this mean that additional charges are coming? Not necessarily. I've heard a variety of things. The Fremont County, the head prosecutor, was retiring or was stepping down or couldn't take it originally. I've heard so many different hypotheses as far as why it was taken and put to the AG's office to begin with. So yeah, not sure, but it has resumed full authority over Tammy Daybell, which makes me obviously right. From that press release, too, from the Fremont County Sheriff said, quote, it is evidence in an open and ongoing investigation. So Tammy's death is still an open investigation.
Yeah, and it's evidence in.
Right.
I mean, the verbiage is very clear to me that it's no good, guys.
To me, I mean, again, we could be speculating, but to me, that's something happening. Now, my favorite part, and okay, guys, so I've tried to give Mark Means the benefit of the doubt. I mean, this is a very small time attorney, right, in Idaho. He doesn't have a lot of experience, anything like that. And he kind of just took on a big case here.
Something a little outside of his wheelhouse.
A little bit outside of his wheelhouse. Of course, everyone's favorite attorney who puts his foot in his damn mouth every chance he gets.
Attorney at Twitter Law.
Attorney of Twitter Law. Oh my God.
That should be his name. I'm going to make a website dedicated to Mark Means, Attorney at Twitter Law.
Oh man. He has been running his mouth on Twitter because, he likes to do it on Instagram, but tonight he took to Twitter.
The Tweeterverse.
The Twitterverse. So he says, and I'm just going to read his tweets here. He says, quote, I've been asked repeatedly for a comment on the letter issued by Fremont County today regarding the passing of Mrs. Daybell. First and foremost, my renewed condolences to her family. Secondly, and then he starts. He's like, okay, I'll be decent on the first one, then gloves off. Quote, secondly, why is Fremont County issuing a statement? It's my recollection that a Fremont deputy was present during the Fremont coroner's investigation at the Daybell property. Did Fremont County not ask the Idaho Attorney General to conduct this investigation? Thirdly, Fremont County elected coroner, quote, ruled her and Mrs. Daybell death caused by natural causes. Fourth, one must ask why issue this nonsensical, quote, statement in what is obviously a media teaser. It appears as a further attempt to bias or prejudice the jury pool in a current Fremont case through a not well-organized media campaign at the cost of the citizens of Idaho.
He's trying so hard.
He's trying so hard. And then he couldn't help himself, so he said again, finally, one must ask yourself, when the defense has to fight for the production of evidence, when list of witnesses for the state is produced a year or so after charges are filed, when attorney-client communications are or were wrongfully recorded, when attorney-client communications are or were recorded, when attorney is denied access to meet with his client for months, when witnesses are coached on what they want to hear, one must ask, okay, this is him, guys, their self, how credible is the state's case? Bush League tactics are never needed when you're in the right.
I'm going to be in the weird here. I have a tendency to agree with some of what he's saying, though.
As we stated in the last episode, I do agree that it is a problem that Lori Vallow cannot meet with him in a free way. And because that is also impacting all other prisoners, and that is part of the United States' justice system, and part of the Constitution, that you have a right to an attorney.
Yes.
And access. So I do agree with that, but he's really grasping at some straws here. What I can't understand is that he is so out of his league here, which is becoming more clear by the day. And he's just grasping at straws, and he's trying to almost pull a Donald Trump. Well, I'm just going to bitch on social media and see what sticks. Just get like the narrative out there.
Is this a common thing for like lawyers to just kind of like vent on the Twitterverse when they're in more of a public eye?
I mean, Rob Wood isn't out there like dragging his ass all over Twitter or Instagram. It's Mark Means. First he attacked Kay and Larry Woodcock, right, for the imaginary microphones that they were going to record and bring into the courthouse. And it's just continued, So I don't know. I mean, it's just so dumb at this point.
Well, he's trying to be a good defense attorney, but like social media isn't the way to do it, bro.
No, he looks so incredibly unprofessional. A lot of his stuff has been so frivolous, like the motions in saying that where he claimed that John Pryor received some of the discovery documents, but that he didn't.
That's some kindergarten stuff.
Yeah, it's really kind of just really sad kindergarten level lawyering is what it is. But yeah, someone needs to take away his phone so he can't tweet because this is ridiculous.
No, people need to take away his fingers because he's trying to poke other kids in the eye right now.
And I can't believe he said, thirdly, a coroner ruled Mrs. Daybell's death caused by natural causes. Well, no shiz Sherlock, because her husband, who's possibly responsible for killing her, wouldn't allow an autopsy to be done.
Look, we have a formula here, and it's 1 part Chad and 1 part poison.
Oh, God. Allegedly.
Yeah, okay.
Allegedly.
Okay.
So, yeah, I found that really funny, though. It's just, he will not stop running his mouth. I'm sure he's up against a lot of different things, but he has continuously made bad choices, not only for himself professionally, but also as Lori's counsel.
Someone take this old man's social media account away.
Yeah. So let's move on to a bit of discovery news. So as I just talked about, Mark Means claims that a hard drive with discovery items was emailed to Chad Daybell's attorney, but not him, right? John Pryor. He said that he did not receive the additional information. So there is a motion to compel on this on February 17th. Let's move on to the other big news. It came out on January 19th. Mark Means filed a motion regarding attorney-client privilege communication, right? And he requested that Lori Vallow be given a cell phone and that security cameras be off when they meet. Guys, due to COVID-19, and there are now like 4,000 different variants of it, this is a major, major issue. This does not only affect Lori, it actually affects all other prisoners in that jail.
Why doesn't he want security cameras? What are they doing?
Nothing.
Sure.
Oh, that is actually something that drives me up a wall, is that everyone's accusing Lori of like trying to sleep with him or, give him some handies for his services. I'm like, come on, guys. Like,
how is she paying him?
That is a good question.
Sorry, I gotta wonder.
Now, attorney-client privilege is a very real and important issue. And for pretrial detainees, the Sixth Amendment right to counsel protects their right to see their attorney. Full stop and period. No way of getting around that. And if you recall in our previous episodes, we discussed how from March 30th to June 9th, Means was only able to speak to Lori via a telephone, and also that 2 calls had been somehow recorded. So Means, in his motion, said, quote, "My client is allowed to speak with counsel through 2 telephone options. One telephone is at the desk of the deputy, and my client is handcuffed to said desk approximately 2 feet from the ear of the deputy. The other option is through a recorded line, telemate, approximately 15 to 20 feet from said deputy clerk." And recall, in an affidavit from last March, Lieutenant Jared Wilmore of the Madison County Sheriff's Office admitted that 2 calls were accidentally recorded on March 31st, but then deleted.
That's weird. That's not right.
The first call had lasted just over 1 minute, whereas the second was almost 30 minutes long. Right. No, like I can completely understand his
defense.
His defense and worry there. However, on the 2 phone calls that have been recorded, he was notified on the line. It was like, this call is recorded. From June to January, Means met with Lori face-to-face in the attorney meeting room in the jail, right? They have different rooms where inmates are allowed to meet face-to-face in a room with their attorney and left alone. It's private. Starting on January 5th, Means was denied access to that room. And what were his options? He could speak to her on a corded phone in the public room, where there are 2 video cameras set up to record their interactions. Before COVID-19, prisoners could meet in that tiny attorney-client rooms and do and say whatever they wanted. Nothing was recorded. And they could, Lori Vallow could Jodi Arias all she wanted. She could do yoga, handstands, up against the wall, do a stand-up routine. It did not matter. It was, attorney-client privilege. It's important to understand first that jails are governed independently and from within, okay? So Mark Means can't appeal to Judge Stephen Boyce and demand more access to Vallow. And then Boyce goes on to force the prison to allow it. That is not how it works. That's not on the table. That cannot happen. And it's likely that his motion about this will go nowhere because of it. Now, that being said, the motion included photographic evidence of the difficulties that he's having. The one photo is a photo from Mark Means' view on the opposite side of the glass of Lori. Lori is in the picture, but her face is blocked out by a purple piece of paper.
Oh my God.
But it shows how he has to hold up each individual paper that he needs her to review.
Yeah, that's difficult.
And in a case like this, you are probably dealing with thousands, hundreds, if not thousands. And when you're visiting a client, you have to make the most out of your time. Another photo shows his side of the glass. His laptop is propped up on a stack of paperwork on one of the tiny little circular seats, barely even being kept stable. His belongings, his briefcase, his coat are all strewn on the floor all around him. And there is a camera pointed directly at him. I mean, that is actually super, super, super problematic. I mean, can you imagine? How would you feel, Jackie, if you were an inmate and that is how you were forced to interact with your attorney?
I would feel pretty awful, very alienated, and it'd be very uncomfortable, and I'd be like, why am I here anyway?
Right, I didn't do anything.
I'd be like, get me out.
So no, the visitor restrictions from COVID-19 make sense, right? The last thing a prison wants is an outbreak of COVID. That's why prisoners are actually receiving their vaccines already ahead of even say me, you, Jackie, or, younger people.
Man, that's not fair. I'm not gonna
Stop it.
Hey.
Stop it. However, the justice system must continue during COVID, and prisoners must be able to meet with their attorneys.
Are we going to get arrested just so we can get vaxxed?
Oh my God.
I'm
that
ready.
Is not in my itinerary or game plan.
Oh, come on. What's your sense of adventure?
And this is happening all across the nation in prisons all over the country. It's bringing prisoner advocate groups out to support special accommodations during this time. And lawsuits are springing up. So will it take more money from the state for temperature checks and additional COVID-19 safeguards? Yeah, probably a lot of money.
I mean, it's rampant in prisons and jails.
Yeah. I mean, all it takes is really 1 or 2 people and you have a mini pandemic.
You got a party.
Right. But should prisoners have unfettered access to their attorneys and counsel? Also, yes. They should.
Always.
It's part of the Constitution, and the Constitution must prevail. In my opinion, Jackie, feel free to disagree, issuing Lori Vallow a cell phone is not gonna freaking happen.
I think that she needs to be able to call her friend Melanie Gibb, and she needs to be able to try and call Chad. Yeah, she should totally get one.
For entertainment purposes only.
Only if it's recorded when she makes private calls.
Right? And then broadcast online for everyone to hear. I don't think she's going to get a cell phone.
Chad, hey.
So unless it remained in the private attorney-client meeting room at all time, right? And then she was allowed in there and access the call, and then it was left there. It requires a lot. This case has so much forensic evidence, forensic and digital. A lot of text messages, GPS coordinates, emails, written documents. I mean, it's insane. So there is an incredible amount of eyes-on reading that has to be done here.
Yeah, definitely.
And even though this motion is likely just grandstanding by means and will go nowhere, there is something at the end of the day underneath it all to be very concerned about here, and not just for the sake of Lori's, potential appeals down the road, because it is impacting other inmates. Is the biatch going to get a cell phone? Probably no. But is there some concerning behavior on the behalf of Idaho? Yep.
Well, just don't forget that there are people who are in jail who are innocent and need to get out. So how are they going to get out if they can't have these proper things afforded to them?
Exactly. 100%. So another piece was Prosecutor Rob Wood's office also submitted disclosure for expert witness, Rhonda Harper. And Rhonda's from Harper Litigation Consulting and Research. And she has been retained by more than 100 law firms. And she's expected to testify with a rebuttal report against the defense's survey. So if you recall, John Pryor and Mark Means did the survey basically to prove that Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, everyone knows about the case and they need to move it. So Rob Wood submitted basically a disclosure for his witness who was doing a rebuttal against their survey. And can you imagine being a juror in this case? Like, Idaho is so small. I mean, this case has made international news. And just on our podcast, guys, we have listeners from like Japan, India, Ireland, Brazil, all over the world who are following the Vallow case.
All the places that have really good food that you just listed.
They really do.
Are you hungry?
I am hungry. In the memorandum in support of motion to change venue, on page 4 is written by the defense, although there is significant reference to LDS scriptures and religion, the suggestion of cult activities is continually being advanced without any merit. The survey presented to the court, performed by defense counsel and provided as an exhibit, supports the assertion that a fair trial cannot be had in the 7th Judicial District. It shows that not only was the person conducting the survey presented with threats from Bonneville, Madison, and Fremont counties, that the vast majority of people interviewed stated that they have already made up their mind regarding the guilt of the defendants.
No way.
Further, that the vast majority would not change their mind. Yeah, we will see. It's going to be very, very interesting with Rhonda Harper. And if you Google Rhonda Harper, she is very well known. Harper Litigation Consulting and Research is actually very well known.
Here's looking at you, Rhonda.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to the next piece. Joseph Ryan's assault at the hands of Alex Cox. So, a 55-page report on the assault of Joseph Ryan by Alex Cox was released by the Austin PD.
55 pages?
Yep.
Jeez.
We all knew that Lori Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, assaulted and tased Joseph Ryan, right? The ex-husband, during kind of like a custody exchange with Tylee Ryan. So we now have the full report and exactly what happened. So we're going to briefly go over that. An officer was dispatched to the kids' exchange at Collin Field and Peyton Gen with a report that a man was being tased.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. When the officer had arrived, Joseph Ryan was there, shaking and scared. And he said that he had just had his first supervised visit with his daughter in over a year and had been tased. And Joseph was leaving the facility and putting stuff into his trunk when Alex, who had been sitting nearby at a picnic table, approached him, which is terrifying. Alex was obviously a very sketchy dude. He said, "We need to talk." After Ryan took a moment and figured out who it was, he recognized him. And he said, "We have nothing to talk about." Ryan immediately asked a nearby woman who was sitting in her car to witness the interaction. Alex Cox then said, "You know what you did," and pulled a taser from his pocket, stating, "This is for my nephew," and then tased Joseph Ryan in the back.
This is for my nephew.
Yep. Who would be Colby.
Wow.
So Ryan took off running across the parking lot, but Alex was able to knock him back down and tase him a second time.
Okay, the first time wasn't good enough?
No, he was basically trying to kill him, it seems. So Joseph Ryan took off a third time, this time passing a man leaving the building, and told him to call 911. So once Alex Cox saw that second witness, he ceased chasing him altogether and then just calmly stopped and walked away. Now, from the report, quote, Ryan advised that he is afraid of what they may do to his house or to him again. He said the entire family has been causing him problems and that his ex-wife has stated that she would rather have death than for him to have another visit with his daughter. Ryan is afraid that could mean anything, killing herself and her daughter or him.
These are legitimate concerns.
Yeah, I would say so. And if you recall, Alex Cox ended up doing some jail time for that. He ended up paying like restitution basically to Ryan and then was in fact able to have a gun again. So he was his rights of owning a gun were never taken away.
They should have though.
As everyone knows, Joseph Ryan, he was originally deemed natural causes. He was found dead in his Phoenix apartment in April of 2018. He supposedly hadn't talked to Lori Vallow or seen her in a very long time. His body wasn't discovered for more than a week. And authorities first contacted Lori Vallow because she was still listed as his next of kin. They had divorced 14 years before that. His cause of death eventually was ruled as a heart attack, and his body was cremated. But they left a little bit of thigh tissue. So detectives ended up reopening the investigation after an October of 2018 audio recording of Lori came out, remember, like a month ago, saying that she was going to murder Ryan. So Ryan died just 6 months before that recording was made.
That's so crazy that they kept his thigh tissue.
Right? But I think it's even crazier that there's so many coincidences in this case.
Yeah, they're not coincidences.
So Lori Vallow literally says in a meeting room where you can hear her talk to Thor, to Zulema, and Melanie Gibb is there. You know, the gang. Like, hey, the gang guys, is there.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. Her friends are all there, and she's literally stating and saying in her speech that she is going to murder Joseph Ryan, and here are the scriptures that I can use to justify it. And then 6 months later, he's dead.
So messed up.
So messed up. So Annie Cushing, Joseph Ryan's sister, responded, quote, "I don't know what Phoenix Police Department's review entailed, but unanswered questions remain, such as the absence of several key items in the 121 photos taken by the Phoenix PD the day of the welfare check. Joe's cell phone, the box of photo albums Lori Vallow pulled out when I was there, and the stacks and stacks of files she said Phoenix PD allowed her to take from Joe's bedroom. But I wasn't holding my breath. This has always been a PR play for Phoenix PD. I believe their conclusion is in keeping with the lack of investigative diligence that has come from law enforcement in the Phoenix area."
Phoenix PD is not exactly the best PD in the world, okay, guys?
And you would know because you live there.
Yeah, unfortunately. They have let me down a lot when I've needed them, that's for sure.
So Joseph Ryan's case, guys, has also been closed due to natural causes. But it was very interesting. I do highly suggest, if you have not read that 55-page report on the situation with Alex Cox, the report is very detailed, and it really kind of like flushes it all out for you, which in this case, I think we're all looking for. So in the last piece of news, really quick tonight, guys, is Brandon Boudreaux won his settlement. If you recall the statement that Melanie Pawlowski, her lawyers, put out on February 20th, they trashed Brandon really, really, really hard. Here is a clip from one of the press releases from the Cox family attorney. Mr. Smith related, quote, "Brandon Boudreaux has failed to tell investigators that his family has covered up child molestation, drug addiction, kidnapping, assaults, and even killings."
Okay, this is getting wild.
And according to inside family information, Brandon Boudreaux's family is involved in organized crime. Brandon Boudreaux has plenty to hide. A closer look would reveal many possible sources who would have taken a shot at him. Melanie's not one of them.
Oh, of course not.
As shown on the storage video, Alex Cox was in Idaho on October 2nd, the day of the alleged shooting. There is simply no truthful evidence that Melanie was involved in any way. In fact, it's more likely that Brandon Boudreaux was involved in one of his elaborate manipulations. And it really just pretty much just shits on Brandon. This entire press release, don't forget they've put out that he's gay, there are homosexual rumors, he's child molested. I mean, they put it out. Well, the good news is that Brandon was just awarded a $12 million settlement.
Where's mine?
Right?
Share some of that, sir.
Share some of that. Well, he's not going to get all of it. And this is him against Robert P. Jarvis, Garrett Smith, Carol Smith, Julie Jarvis, basically attorneys and their wives, it seems. Brandon did win the $12 million settlement. What's probably going to happen is that the Cox family attorneys, right, like the defendants in the case, since they're attorneys, their insurance will likely pay for most of this. And then Brandon's attorneys are going to get a good amount of it, like a percentage. Yeah, but he's going to get a nice fat payday. So just as kind of a heads up, you may not want to go, if you're kind of involved in a really high profile case, you may not want to have your attorneys put out like flagrant lies of this magnitude about somebody. So that is it for the big news, guys. It has been a crazy week. I think Tammy Daybell's autopsy by itself is very, very telling.
Yeah, no, we've been waiting for this forever.
I don't know if we've talked about it yet because our schedule, guys, I don't even know what day it is, frankly. My life is so turned upside down. But did we talk about the fact that Melanie Gibb got married, that she and David Warwick are married now?
No. Did we?
I have no idea, guys. If that's just repeating information, I'm sorry, but I cannot believe that Melanie Gibb is married now.
So much has happened, and this is like some like exciting news, and hopefully justice will be brought.
Yeah, it's true. So to tie it up, guys, we do have a couple hearing dates. The change of venue, the hearing for motion to dismiss and for change of venue is now scheduled for March 22nd at 9 a.m. And there will be a motion to compel remote hearing that has been set for February 17th in just 2 weeks at 9:30. So the motion to compel, again, typically means that there's just a dispute regarding a discovery request, which is what is happening. But yeah, so we do have a couple hearing dates coming out. And with Tammy's autopsy being back now, it's going to be interesting. So like, when will the defense get it? Is it going immediately to the prosecution and then, will be sent over as part of discovery? There will be a lot of moving pieces coming up, and we are so excited for it.
Well, how many licks does it take to get to the center?
I can't wait. That is it for today, guys. Again, Jackie's back.
I am.
We're going back to our originally planned schedule.
Until next crime.